Well, let's see here. It's the 2nd of June, 2022. I'm back. I need to give updates on the level of hatred and persecution and discrimination and refusal of service I'm receiving from the hooves of the satanic skanks here in British Columbia pretending to be public servants of these apparent public service agencies. You see, I'm being poisoned to death by these pukes and their lies, by these pukes and their slander, by these pukes and the defamation of my character. There's been another violent assault now in May. I have now been cut off the $358.45 I was receiving from BC Welfare to cover my out-of-control living expenses after having my house stolen by application and title fraud by CIBC satanic savages and their partners in crime, Fulton Company and Kamloops and Cox, Taylor, Hearn, Victoria, and then of course you got a coven of witches posing as the BC Supreme Court. Every single BC Supreme Court witch who has aided and abetted the theft of my house and the embezzlement of the entire estate is no longer employed by the satanic cult, private for-profit Ponzi scheme corporation of British Columbia. You're done. So saith the King of Kings. So let me set up some boundaries here for the satanic savages acting as a YouTube, and the satanic savages who I'm going to be calling here in just a second. I'm about to make a call here to the head pimp of the province here, John Horgan. John Horgan is a war and genocide committing criminal who's gone out of its way to stay silent after I informed this thing, this human, this male monster, that my house is being stolen and all the money's being embezzled. Because there's always attempts being made on my life by these pigs. Pig. What's a pig? A pig is a person in government. A pig is a mad, blind, confused human. A pig is a mad, bloody, greedy, ill-mannered person. A person is a thing. Yeah, a person is a thing. John Horgan is a person. A person is a thing. Right? I'm not a thing. My name is Victoria. I'm a woman sent down from above. That's why I have that very odd Rh negative blood. Yeah, that's right. Now, science has already confirmed that Rh negative blood has no earthly origin. That's right, and that's exactly what my brother, the Christ, was trying to explain to the satanic savages of his day 2,000 years ago when he was sent down from above, just like I was. Just like I am. My arrival date is June 28th, 1973. I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly what I am, which makes me an expert on who and what the fuck you are. That's right. I'm an expert on what you are and who you are. You see, I look like I got 2 eyes. I don't. I have 7 eyes. I have 7 eyes. You can read about my 7 eyes in Isaiah 11:2 and Revelation 5:4. And every single one of my 7 eyes is all over you. And you don't want my eyes on you, trust me on that, because I know exactly who you are and exactly what you are. You start talking and about 30 seconds later, I've diagnosed you. You're either a child of the Most High King of Kings or you're a child of the devil himself. And if you're a child of the devil, and there's a 94+% chance that you are mad, you are blind, and you are confused. Yeah, I'm afraid so. You are the walking dead. And that's who's attacking me at all material times. So let me set up some boundaries here. I'm about to set up some boundaries because I have rights, and I'm about to shove my rights down your throat so fast you can't choke it up. And then you're going to choke on it. It's called the truth. It's called my rights. Let's go over it. According to the Act for the Preservation and Enhancement of Multiculturalism in Canada, which is the duty, responsibility, and obligation of every single pig in the province of British Columbia. Remember, a pig is a person in government. A person is a thing. A person has no rights. The opinion of a person is irrelevant to me, a living woman. Got it? Get it? Good. Going back to the Act for the Preservation and Enhancement of Multiculturalism in Canada, Under the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, a convention which recognizes that all are equal before the law and are entitled to equal protection of the law against any discrimination and against any incitement to discrimination, and to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, a covenant providing that my race, my people, who are a minority and who speak a minority language called the truth, I am not to be denied my right to enjoy my own culture and to speak my own language. Now, every word out of my mouth is my own language, and the speech that I speak is protected language. Yeah, I'm afraid it is. So if you're going to report, if you're going to pull down, if you're going to strike, I'd think twice. I'd think twice, because you'll be committing a crime of genocide. Yeah. You see, genocide is about psychological abusing a woman like me to death with your poisonous puke. Your poisonous puke would be your own thoughts. Your poisonous puke would be what you believe in, what you think. I don't care what you think or what you believe. Your opinion, to me, is irrelevant. You got it? Good. Then we're going to set up my rights under the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. Article 5. What does Article 5 say? Let's see. Article 5, Part B. I have the right to security and protection by the Province of British Columbia, the private for-profit Ponzi scheme. Right, that's what the Province of British Columbia actually is. Against violence and bodily harm, whether inflicted by pigs. Right? We already went over what a pig is. A pig is a person in government. Right? A pig is a greedy, ill-mannered person. Yeah, exactly. Or any individual, group, or institution. Did you hear what I just said? Are you deaf? Hope not. And then we're going to go over Part C here. Now, I have the right, obligation, duty, and responsibility to take part in this provincial government, as well in the conduct of its public affairs at all levels, and to have equal access to public services. And I'm about to invoke my rights to go inside every single public service agency that has information that I require to do my investigation, my job, into the repeated acts of genocide that me and my family face at the hooves of the persons of the pigs pretending to be the province of British Columbia. I have the right to freedom of movement. I have the right of freedom of residence. I'm afraid so. I have the right to freedom of thought, and I have the right to freedom of conscience. I have the right to freedom of expression, which is why every word out of my mouth is protected speech. I speak the truth. You, the one listening to this, are more than likely not of the truth. And you'll know who you are right away, because when you start to hear my voice and you start to hear what I have to say, you're more than likely going to hate me, and that identifies you as a child of the devil. That identifies you as a goat. That identifies you as an enemy of the peculiar people. I belong to a minority known as the peculiar people. We're an identifiable group. I will explain to you, I will teach you how to identify my people, because I am an expert on my people. Do you understand? Did you understand? I just set up a bunch of boundaries there that you're not gonna get. You're not coming across. Okay, that's a fence line. You got it? You ain't coming in to what I gotta do and what I gotta say. I gotta do my job, and my job is to make sure that every witch who's now had a hoof in stealing my house and embezzling every dollar is held to the full pains and penalties of the Torah. That's the law. That's the law that I'll be invoking all over this pimp, John Hargon. I'm about to call this pimp's office, and I can guarantee you when I call this pimp's office, you're going to hear one of these pigs in this office intimidating callers, uttering threats against callers, refusing to serve callers. Yeah, because these pigs don't want to serve you. They really don't. They're there sitting in these offices doing nothing of value all day, every day, pulling a paycheck, pulling flex days, pulling medical, pulling dental, pulling pensions out of the private for-profit Ponzi scheme trough that is the province of British Columbia. Yeah. Let's call John Boy here and see what John Boy has to say for itself.
Thank you for calling the office of the Premier of British Columbia. Due to the high volume of incoming calls, you are receiving this recorded message. Office hours are between 8:30 and 4:30, Monday through Friday. This voicemail box is monitored during business hours. Callers requiring personal assistance can leave a brief message with your reason for calling, or you can send an email to premier@gov.bc.ca. These messages will be directed to the appropriate staff or ministry offices for follow-up. If you require assistance or have questions regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, call 811 for medically related matters or 1-888-COVID-19 for non-medical information, including current public health orders. Please be advised there is zero tolerance for threatening or abusive messages. Calls of this nature will be reported to the appropriate authorities as necessary.
See what I mean? There you go.
After the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, hang up or press the pound key for more options.
John Horgon, this is Victoria Nevens calling. My callback number is 250-661-0610. You know exactly who I am and you know exactly why I'm calling you, John, because you receive correspondence from me on a regular basis about the application and title fraud performed by your buddies at CIBC and your buddies in the Supreme Court of BC here to steal my house and then embezzle the entire estate, which, by the way, is illegal. It's actually an act of
To
genocide.
accept and set message options, press 1. To replay, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3. To continue recording, press 4. To cancel, press the star key. To repeat at the tone, continue your message. When you have finished recording, hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Wow, what a joke, eh? So you can't even take a message that's more than, 30 seconds long? I was just interrupted when I was leaving a message. That's an act of abuse that I won't tolerate. You got it? Right? So I'm now about to set up an implied contract of which I don't need your consent and I don't need your signature. So there's now a standing restraining order, a permanent restraining order against every single BC RCMP and BC law enforcement pig. Pursuant to 1 Chronicles 16:22 and Psalm 105:15, there's now a standing restraining order against every single pig in this province acting as the province of British Columbia in any and all capacities that they're acting in, because I'm having my life threatened constantly, all because I've gone and reported crime. Money laundering crime. So, John, you're going to have to explain to me why on May 25th, that's last month, $358.45 that was to be direct deposited into my account to cover my necessaries of life has now been withheld, which means now I can't afford to pay my bills, and I want to know why the trespassers are still occupying my stolen property at 604 Polyanthus Crescent, because I got a bullhorn yesterday, and I'm about to make some noise because you're not listening. You're not listening, John. Because you hate me. You're a racist, John. Do you have any idea how many times I've been raped after you and your pals embezzled the entire estate? So your buddies at CIBC could help themselves to $80,000 they're not owed? Can you explain any of this, John? This Cullen inquiry is a joke. Yeah, what you're doing is you're covering up for you and your pals who are actually behind all the money laundering. All the money laundering in the province, John, is going on in your corrupt BC casinos and your wholly completely corrupt BC real estate industry, John. I'm an expert on the subject matter, John, and you're going to sit down and have a face-to-face with me. Yeah, and on your way home, John, because I know you live in Langford, you're going to be stopping by 1621 Island Highway. That's the West Shore U-Lock Mini Storage. You're going to be paying $367.50 for unit number 1309A. That's my storage locker that I can't afford to pay for now, because now you and your pals have conspired together to cut me off, The pennies you were throwing me every month out of BC Welfare Services here, $358.45. $912, John, does not cover anybody's necessaries of life. Not mine or not anyone's in the province. So why haven't you and your pals increased the amount of pennies that you're throwing those of us who need some help financially? Do you know why, John? Because I know exactly who you are and what you are. We need to talk about a letter I received here filled with lies and slander. I've received a letter filled with lies and slander about my character, John, after I caught you and your buddies abusing me in April after I needed some help with a rental subsidy, an emergency rental subsidy. So you're guilty of refusing your duty of persons to provide necessaries, and that includes you and your pals here at the District of Saanich. John, I have issued an invoice to the District of Saanich for $40,000 to provide me with reparations for all the storage locker fees and housing costs I've incurred since you stole my house and then embezzled all the money. It's a requirement, John. So I'm now going to have to go around placing you all under citizen's arrest.
At message options, press 1. To replay, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3. To continue recording, press 4. To cancel, press the at the tone, continue your message. When you have finished recording, hang up or press the pound key for more options.
So did you go over all the tweets I sent on May 31st? Because I tweeted and tweeted and tweeted the truth about who you are and what you all are and what you're doing to me. Did you get all that information, John? Because we're going to be going over it. There's going to be a face-to-face meeting. You're going to be there. David Eby's going to be there. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Your buddy Johnny Van Camp's going to be there because there's some money that's owed to me and my family out of the $7.2 billion that you're hoarding. Yeah, July 19th, 2019, Karen Larson of BC News reported that you're hoarding $7.2 billion, but you're lying about it. So hoarding is a sign of mental illness, John. John, I'm going to have to remove you as premier. You've sat by and done nothing about what's been done to me because you're an indictable crime-committing criminal. You're a genocide-committing criminal. You're a war criminal, John. You don't even understand the law, John. Right? You, your pal here, Nicholas Simmons, and your buddy here, Selena Robinson. So I tell you what, John, I have right, duty, and obligation as King's Counsel. I've introduced myself to you, John, as King's Counsel. I'm here on special assignment for the King of Kings, John. I make sure the King's will is followed at all material times. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Yeah, the King's will sits on the witness box of every single courtroom. It's the first 5 books. That's the law. And that's the law that I'm going to be making sure is followed. That's my training, John. And you're a racist bigot, John. You hate real women, John. You hate me, John. That's why you don't call me back, John. That's why you don't do anything about what's happening to me, John. That's why you won't call up your fucking slimy snake pal here, the District of Saanich here, Fred Hayes, and inform that indictable crime-committing criminal that him and his buddies are going to be releasing that $38,000 that's owed to me immediately, because if you don't, you're guilty of refusing your duty of persons to provide necessaries. You don't understand anything, do you, John? So your denial is integral to you, John, because you're an abuser of the peculiar people. So now that I've confronted you and all your pals, now what you abusers are doing, and you've done it to me now in April and in May, you've shifted the blame to me, your victim, and now you're trying to avoid it altogether. Instead, now you've cut me off as an act of retaliation of the $358.45. So I tell you what, John boy, nobody can live on $915 a month. And when I explain to you that I'm going to be making sweeping changes to how your agencies conduct business with clients, you better damn well believe that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, and you're going to be following every single thing I tell you to do, John, because you're poisonous. John Horgan, you're poisonous. Yeah, no, you're poisonous. You're absolutely disgusting. You actually physically look like a monster. That's a problem, John. That's a problem. Because you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. In this Cullen inquiry, it's a joke. What you're doing is you're actually covering up for all these money launderers. You realize that my house was stolen so a couple of BC Asians could launder some money? Sure you do. You were sent a registered mail package about what was happening to me, and you did nothing about it, making you guilty of genocide against myself and my family. There's close to $40 million owed to my family, John, and I'm going to be coming down to the BC Finance Minister office, and I'm going to be taking that reparation that's due to my family myself, because you're never going to do what's right. You're never going to do what's right. You're a murderer, thief, and destroyer. You're a compulsive liar. Just like all these pigs, all these persons in government that I deal with on a continual basis. Right? You don't understand the language I speak, John. We speak different languages, John, because you're a completely different species than I am, John. You have Rh positive blood, making you identical to an ape. You're a human. A human is legally defined as a monster for a good reason, John. You're a creature. That's why you have to be a creature of statute. So here's what's going to happen to the trespassers inside my house, because they got to leave. So every single person who's occupied my house, starting January 1st this year, because they were evicted by me at the end of November 2021, I evicted them. I gave them written eviction notices, told them to get out of my house. I informed Senator Dennis and Benjamin Howe of Faircliff Lane in Victoria here. They don't have a valid mortgage on my house, John. It's stolen property, so they're in possession of stolen property and have been for 6 months. So the trespassers inside my house, each person owes my family $35,000 per month that they continue to squat. That money's due immediately. It's a foreign judgment. The humans in your courts here have no jurisdiction over me or the matters I have to deal with. And by the way, John, in my culture, it's the victim of the crime who handles the trespasser. So it's my job to hold every single trespasser who's caused me and my family loss, harm, and injury to account to the full force and effect of the law. So now what you've got is you've got your buddies, your partners in crime here, B. Howe, S. Dennis, and Halfam Holdings, owing me and my family over $600,000 in loss, harm, and injury damages for refusing to give up possession of my stolen property. You see, your buddies here in Victoria are in possession of my stolen property, while you sit there and do nothing about it, and that includes your buddies there, your partners in crime at the Vic and Saanich PD departments here, both criminal organizations, and I'm defunding them both. Both of those criminal organizations are nothing but a threat and a danger to everyone in the community. They're a waste of money. And what's happening is, I know, after years of experience, that these humans, these male and female humans, legally defined as monsters, can't be trained properly, because I've tried to train you for years. You see, John, I'm King's Counsel. I'm King's Counsel. You understand what that means? John, I'm a counselor. I'm an expert in law and justice. Understand? No, John, you're one of the wicked, so you understand nothing. And that includes you and your pal there that all receive registered mail packages. So Melissa Gillespie, David E.B., the Deputy Attorney General, you were all informed that money laundering was going on by the theft of my house. John, are you aware that application and title fraud is a crime happening in Canada twice a week? And you know who's behind it all? Your bar member buddies. Yeah, John, your bar member buddies and your real estate agent buddies. Yeah. Do you know anything? But you got the nerve to get up on TV there and talk about, we're getting to the bottom of the money laundering. Yeah. Now, actually, you're the one doing the money laundering. Yeah, so that's just a smoke screen. Because you know why you're doing that inquiry, John? You're doing it to waste money and to waste time. Because what you should be doing, if you were a man, and you're not a man, you're a monster, you're a male monster. If you were a man, John, you'd be informing the completely corrupt BC Attorney Generals to start charging, arresting, and prosecuting the Asian abominations in the province laundering their filthy lucre. But you're not going to do that, so I'm going to do it. So my case is going to be the first case in Canada that stops the money laundering, because the money launderers are going to now know these are the consequences for your ugliness and your greed and your worship and service of Mammon. Do you hear me? Do you understand me? You got 24 hours to call me back, John. We're going to have a face-to-face. Everything is going to be audio and videotaped. I have to place you under citizen's arrest, John. You're guilty of acts of genocide against me and my family, and I'm removing you as premier. You're disgusting. You're a compulsive liar. You're a indictable crime-committing criminal. It is completely and utterly illegal to steal my house and then embezzle all the money. But you've done it anyway, because there's a completely different set of rules for me than everyone else, because I'm a real woman who speaks the truth. And that's why you and all your racist, bigoted pals, pretending to be A service corporation? Nah, man. You're a private for-profit Ponzi scheme corporation. You're murderers, thieves, and destroyers. How many children are you going to traffic this year, John? Pimps, perverts, and pedophiles are sitting in places they shouldn't be sitting in across this country. And I'm here to flip it upside down and turn it right side up. Do you understand me? Nah, you're wicked. You understand nothing. 24 hours. You got 24 hours to call me back. You got 24 hours to inform Fred Hayes. I need to be contacted with confirmation that there's a $40,000 check ready for me to pick up right at the front desk of the district senate. Now remember, I got a bullhorn. And I'm about to start making some noise, and I don't care what you like, because now there's a permanent restraining order against you and all the pigs in this province. You're not allowed to touch me. You're not allowed to touch me, because now I've had sandwich puke departments over here at my door threatening my life. It's all caught on tape, John. I'm now wise enough to catch it all on tape. Everything you are and everything you're doing to me is now being documented for the world to see. That I'm a targeted woman, targeted for genocide, because BC hates real women. BC hates the peculiar people. My brother Jesus told you all about this, John. You're not listening to my brother? Nah, of course not. Well, what could you, one of the blind and deaf, actually listen to? You make me sick to my stomach. And now you're finished. You just should have done the right thing years ago when I contacted you. Well, I just hung up that call, so let's just see where that goes, because I got a job to do. I got a job to do, and I'm going to do my job. And because these pukes aren't listening to me, I'm now going to have a bullhorn right beside their fucking ugly faces. Their fucking ugly faces. You pigs don't want to do your jobs? You male and female humans legally defined as monsters? That's why you have to have libraries full of rules for you pigs to follow. But you don't follow any of them because you're lawless. Yeah, all the pigs in BC here believe that they're above the law. They actually believe that. They actually believe that because that's what history proves to be true, right? And when you go through the DSM, when you go through the scriptures, it's crystal clear that the wicked are incapable of doing what's right, and that's who I'm dealing with. I belong to a race called the righteous, and I'm dealing with a race called the wicked. My race constitutes 6% or less of the world's population, and the wicked are comprised of at least 64% of the world's population are wicked, and they're going to be burning in the pits of hell. So I hope you're enjoying your lives. Those of you who hate the truth, and those of you who hate those of us who speak the truth. So I'm about to upload this call to YouTube, and I'm going to be making an Instagram video later, going through some more information to expose the liars and the lies in this province.